Hello, everyone, and I'm breaking with tradition. I guess shame on me for doing this, but if you haven't noticed, like currently, like all throughout January, I basically was doing like a Final Fantasy One song in like every one of my videos. You know, mostly background, but still, it was a thing where I was gonna do Final Fantasy for every month of this year, and quite frankly, now, not sure that I'm gonna make it out of February because I've been wanting to talk about this for a while, and this is no slight against Cabbage or Diggs or anybody who has made any decision about Wotv for the past little while. But needless to say, I've been pretty frustrated, and it hasn't been like incredibly well hidden. I am not a master of hiding my emotions. As a matter of fact, I just don't like that. I like to have all of my emotions kind of fairly on my sleeve, like just wear that hard on my sleeve, right? I don't think that there's any value in not calling out bullshit when it happens. And Wotv has been really pushing me more and more to the extent where I am just getting angrier and angrier about this game. And it's not just about like quitting. I know I can quit. I have other games. I played Reality Lost. I've been picking up Dissidia Opera Omnia recently. I've been playing Princess Connect, which for everybody who says Umbra, Princess Connect is just a waifu collector. Yeah, so is Wotv. Wotv has become a waifu collector lately. Let's be honest. There are nowhere near as many male characters as there are female characters. And this isn't even a UR thing. This is a general game thing at this point. Because let's face it, that's probably 90%, 99% of like the people who are left playing Wotv. Anyway, the JP side since the beginning of the year has been, to put it slightly, a little frustrating for a couple reasons. One, in December I got 2B. That isn't necessarily a bad thing. 2B is a good unit. She is a really good unit. But she was a unit where I was like, okay, well, I'm going to build her because, you know what, I don't hate Nier a ton. I'm not like overly fond of Nier, but I also, I don't really harbor any ill will against it. I think it's a great thing that, it feels kind of different and it's a little bit odd and a little bit strange, but it's still got some like really kick-ass action oriented stuff in its game. Like there is good things that I like about it, and I don't hate 2B and I don't hate 9S, and I kind of went in on them. But as it turned out, that was the wrong move to make, and it really made my month of January in this game incredibly bad, because the next unit to come along was Lord Mont, and Lord Mont is a fire unit, which meant that all of the content that was Sword Week was also Ice Elemental. So this unit was strong, but 2B felt like an incredibly bad investment. Like, incredibly bad. I can't even explain how unhappy I was in the month to have, like, spent a fair amount of effort building 2B, and then, like, so much content just completely invalidated her. But it wasn't just that. It was also Yuna. I don't know what happened, but my month was incredibly difficult because I had multiple times where Yuna's passives were just unequipped, and it wasn't me. It wasn't that I just didn't click the confirm button. I did it multiple times, and it just kind of kept just not working, and just then I would lose Arena, and I was losing Guild Wars, and it was becoming incredibly frustrating because while I've cut my spending in Wotv, I have to say that it was like I have spent, and I'm just kind of amazed at how fast in a month your account can be devalued by not like spending, just like how quickly you kind of just go out of being in favor. And you know what? I did eventually get this guy, and I have been kind of putting my resources toward him, and now, lo and behold, what should become but another double cost unit. And I do think I do need to explain just a little bit that and this isn't really against anyone, this is just how I feel I don't expect to have every unit right away. I don't expect to get them to EX right away. But I do think that what is currently going on on the JP side between mono elemental teams, where you are vastly rewarded for having a mono element team, which is expensive because it kind of either necessitates that you're building all elementals or that you are just, getting like everything. Like, it's just so bad. And so, taking a look at this where now we have another double cost unit just coming right at us right away. It's tough. It's tough. Because like I was getting into before I kind of got off track, this is feeling like a major separation of power at this point. Like, even more so, because you have double cost Gilgamesh last month, you have double cost Mont, you have double cost Black Witch Helen coming right away, and that's an entire team of double cost units that have an EX that, yeah, I do think that EX is going to be pretty monumental here, because old EXs don't come close to this. And honestly, what's the thing next month where it's just going to power creep old units even more? I have been looking at a lot of the old EX units and going, they're not bad, they're definitely an improvement, but compared to what is new, there is no way that I would ever say that Ayaka is anywhere remotely as good as Yuna is. Yuna is just really insanely good if you look at the two units like apart kind of thing, or even if you look at Medina versus Yuna, like there is massive power gaps in some of these units between the new ones with EXs and the old one with EXs, and that's because these units are designed from the ground up. Lord Mont does not have to struggle with the Paladin kit. He has a brand new job with brand new abilities that old Paladins just don't get. They don't. There's no upgrade. Upgrading old units doesn't give them the newer jobs. It just gives them more stats and a couple of improvements. It really is night and day how kind of devalued your old characters are getting, which is something a year ago when I was playing Wotv and still doing, videos for Wotv, I reckon that this would be an incredibly bad thing, and this is an incredibly bad thing. Somehow Wotv has moved into just power creeping tons of stuff, but now we're also getting into the age of double cost units. Dark Helena is a double cost unit. In the last month, we've seen 3 double cost units with EXs. And yes, Gilgamesh is an old character, and I'm sure there were plenty of people who had him to 99, so getting up to EX might have been not as much of a real struggle. But not everybody is in that position, and I do think that at this point, it's just going to become too much for anybody who isn't spending money to stay competitive in the PvP sphere. And why is that a problem? Well, I'm definitely not going to be sugarcoating this, but regular PvE content kind of just sucks. It kind of just sucks lately. Again, this was supposed to be part of my review of January video, which is now becoming a, oh my god, I don't want to play February kind of content video. Taking a look at what we got in January, we got a side story that was pretty lackluster in terms of environments, in terms of story. There was almost nothing to it. It really was incredibly bare bones, where, literally, I could tell you that the cutscenes probably could have been summed up in about 3 or 4 sentences. That's it. That's all that was. Looking at the interlude content, which is in between chapter 1 and chapter 2, or book 1 or book 2, or however they're labeling it, I don't really care. Taking a look at that right now, it's pretty uninteresting. There's no new enemy types. There's no real feeling of a passage of time. There's no real feeling that we're doing anything different at this point, or that any of the characters have really learned anything. It feels like they're just doing the same stuff as book 1, and that's disappointing, because there should be some kind of a real change of feeling, I feel, between books. It doesn't feel like they're really building up to anything. It feels like they are just keeping going with whatever they want, or, the status quo, I should say. And that is frustrating. That is annoying. And even to get into the stuff before January that I haven't really talked about, but people in my YouTube comments have brought this up, and this is a fair point. Collaborations are incredibly fucking lazy. Hey, Mont, this 2B character you're kind of fighting alongside, she's a fucking machine. She is a hyper advanced android. You don't have anything for that? Not even a single line of dialogue? That's incredibly lazy. I mean, you model the environment for Nier, you model the environments for Final Fantasy X, but you don't use it in any cutscenes, you don't use it for even text dialogue. Like, at this point, we know we don't get the voices of Final Fantasy X characters or Nier characters or any of that shit. But, like, you couldn't even have written some text and animated some stuff? Where does the money in Wotv go? Because with all these double cost characters, you think that money might be going into game development or maybe hire. Hell, if you are like super strapped for people, maybe hire some more people, I know the executives like Hirano allegedly won't get as much massive bonuses at the end of the month or whatever, but you know what? Fuck off. Is the message that I'm trying to get at. I don't want this. The idea of double cost units speeding up when the in-game amount of resources you get has not sped up and actually felt like it's slowed down. When daily logins just are so outdated on the JP side, and Globalers, I know you have different dailies from what we have. You need to understand this. You guys have gotten it updated. We still get 60 like lapis per day, and that's it, basically. Dailies are incredibly outdated on the JP side, and so is the player experience too. Going through the collaborations again, and this has just become a talk about the state of the game video at this point. But Final Fantasy X ran the chocobos with max bonus units for the entire month that it was up, and I got literally, not figuratively, literally 5 unishards and 5 orange shards and 7 or 8 Titus shards. And it was the same with Nier, and Nier was even advertised, from what I remember from the live stream, Nier was advertised as having triple rates. Well, okay, for 2 weeks, I got 2 2B shards and 3 9S shards. So it doesn't matter. You can triple the rates. 3 times 0.00001% is still way too low to make any kind of a difference. Triple rates doesn't matter when the rates are so bad and the situation is so bad. Because honestly, if the game is going to move into mono elements where characters are continually and regularly being massively power crept, like the fact that just taking a look at Dark Helena is just so, it frustrates me so much. Not because I don't expect her to be good, but because of just how good she seems. Where she's, I got Yuna, and Yuna was really good. And then came Auron and a bunch of units that seemed to, be very anti-magic and kind of pushed Yuna down. And now we have a unit that's going to counter those units. This is the Wotv wheel at this point of constantly just a unit to solve a unit to solve a unit. But really, it's a unit just to solve a unit that's causing a problem. And the units are just Yuna was just way too powerful for the game. And now she had to be solved. And now that needs to be solved. And this is going to need to be solved by something else in 3 weeks to a month. This is even considering the fact that we're probably going to see a limited unit on the 14th. Because of course we are, because it's Valentine's Day and it's time to go back into that again and more limited units. So basically, if we look at not even from the stuff in December, which was limited unit, limited unit, limited unit, limited unit, all the way through, now since the beginning of the year, we've had double cost unit into one standard unit, now into a double cost unit, into a limited unit. And the producer live letter does not fill me with any kind of confidence into the fact that the future is bright and cheery, because when Hirano says we have fun stuff planned, it probably means we have fun stuff for charging you money. I'm sorry, but this company is really, really bad, and this game is definitely becoming really bad. And my situation, you know, this is venting a month of frustration. And Cabbage, if you're wondering why I've lost the spark, this is why. And I'm totally fine with like having a conversation, but it is frustrating, man. It is very, very frustrating. And the other thing is, you know, I've had real life stuff over the month of January that has kept me out of this game, you know, and really important real world stuff. So is that just it, where Wotv is this all or nothing game where you constantly need to play so that you're not playing from behind? And if that's the case, can Wotv be summed up in this one sentence? You're never ahead, you're only degrees of either being like on par or behind. And if that's the case, yeah, I don't foresee myself playing this game too much longer, because while I don't expect to be able to collect every character, and I don't be able to expect to be able to like have every character up to max without spending in a gacha game, because that's not how gacha games work. Strangely enough, I'm not new to this concept. At this point, the collaboration content is lazy. The main story content is uninspired and pretty recycled. The side stories have dipped in quality. The amount of characters costing has gone up and has just become more limited. And the rates on the JP side, along with the daily logins and the lapis, just isn't enough, and it's too old and outdated for them upping the cost of this game constantly. Because upping the cost in a gacha game, to me, doesn't scream that the game is in a healthy position. It screams that you are trying to get as much money out of the players who are basically aren't going to go, that are like the GME people on Wall Street right now, until the end. And what a glorious end it might end up being. Anyway, no ill will to Cabbage or anyone else who plays Wotv and enjoys Wotv, who enjoys it casually. But I think that hardcore at this point, if you really want to be hardcore in Wotv, you definitely got to be just spending. And I just don't think you're going to get your value back. That is my point as well. I've said a lot. Process this. Let me know in the comments what you think. Because I might not be playing this game too much longer, and that's okay, because you know what? There are a lot of great games out there. Go play Hades. Go play Persona 5 The Royal. Go play Persona 5 Strikers. Destruction All-Stars looks amazing. I'm going to end this video on a positive note. You know what? Fuck everything. Go play that. Go play randomizers. There are great communities around randomizers, whether it's, you know, Final Fantasy X Final Fantasy 1 randomizer. I love ALTTP. Link to the Past randomizer. Go play all of these great games out there. You know what? I'm going to even shout out an EA game. Go play Star Wars Squadrons. It's actually a really good game. Star Wars Battlefront 2 is a really great game. Jedi Fallen Order. There's 3 EA games. Titanfall 2. Not every EA game. I'm not that crazy. Go. There's lots of great games out there, and and there are also a lot of great other gacha options out there too. If you're feeling like you still want to have something for the future in the gacha sphere, there's lots of great games out there. Yeah, that's everything. that's my talk about the state of play. Thank you very much for watching. For the very foreseeable future, I will keep doing news videos and opinion videos and everything like that. Because you know what? If the people who speak out about it stop speaking out, then all you're going to have is just a potential echo chamber, or if there aren't the two sides, or potentially you're just going to end up with way too accepting of a community. We as the consumer should always be demanding better. Thanks for watching. See you next time.